several things. You're looking at color. You're looking at the surface of the bean. Does the surface look bumpy? Does the surface look with black lines? Does the surface look too light in one spot, too dark in another? So we look at all of those at the different levels of roasting. And then at the end, what you're going to be seeing, you're going to be seeing a bean which is nice and smooth, okay, nice and bright, no oil, and then we're at the end of our roast for that kind of coffee. So we have a special technique for each coffee. We're good because our roasting machine is involved with all sorts of coffees. That particular coffee bean was from South America, so there isn't anything very special about that as much as where it is. And Hawaii is probably one of the most perfect places to grow coffee, especially in Kona, because the coffees are on the south side of the mountains, so the coffees get rain, late sunshine, and they're protected from the wind. And the volcanic soil is so rich that the coffee beans flourish in that particular area of the world. The temperature is great, so in the daytime it's warmer, nighttime is cooler, and the coffee beans love warm and cool. And so Kona was chosen actually by accident back in 1828. They didn't have any idea if coffee would grow there, and they just decided, well, it looks good. So they made a guess, and they put the coffee there, and it's been perfect ever since. Your first harvest probably 3 years, and then mature trees about 5 years. This is quite unusual because the Wailua coffee trees came from Kona. All right, why is it so special? It's because where they are grown here. So, rainfall, sunshine, altitude, soil. The Wailua soil was originally in sugarcane, so it was a different situation, and it took several years for that particular soil to start to develop, where the soil was a little bit more acid than what it is in more neutral form. So coffee plants like acidic soil. So that worked out there. The interesting thing about Wailua coffee is that we have, with all of those elements, we have a nice flavor, nice smooth flavor, nice sweet flavor, and you can see that the Wailua coffee originated from Kona, the tree, but look what happened in the growing. Kona is a little bit higher acidity in their coffee, Wailua a little bit lower. Okay, while the Kona coffee is a little bit more nutty, and the Wailua is more sweet. And so there's basic differences, even though it's the same bean. So it's exciting because this particular bean is probably grown in many places in the world, and look at the differences. It's amazing. What I like in Kona, I don't have in Wailua. What I like in Wailua, Kona doesn't have. So I like the Kona for its little higher acidity and its nuttiness, and I like the Wailua for lower acidity and sweetness. if I had to drink all day long, I would drink Wailua. Okay, Kona is more of a special coffees, maybe for dessert, but as a coffee for all day long, probably not. So don't forget, there's only about 7.5 million pounds of coffee on all Hawaiian Islands. Kona this year, probably around 3 million pounds. So 3 million pounds, you know, quite honestly, it probably wouldn't be enough to supply Central California for a couple of days. It's amazing. So it becomes a very special item, and people don't use it as a regular weekly item. They use it for more special occasions. So all these things involved, where the prices are higher, the acreage is higher, the labors are very high, the processing is very high. And here in Hawaii, they've mentioned so much in Kona coffee around the world that people want to try it. So it's a curious thing. And after people want to try it, they go, oh, okay, it's a nice coffee. It's a very nice coffee, right? Is it any better or worse than other countries in the world? Probably not. It's just different. Just a little different, okay? You can go to Central America. It's the same Guatemalan Typica coffees, or in Indonesia, in Africa, and they'll all be a little different. What we did when we talked about Kona and Wailua, and then we got to that 50-50, you get the softness of Wailua, you get the more robust Kona, and they complement each other at the 50-50 level. 25% Wailua and 75% Kona. It's not as good as that nice balance between 50%. So I like that situation. Actually, the Wailua coffee could be a little bit more. But in respect to everything, the pukalani blend is just perfect right now. I do two things with that. I only do higher grade Konas, and I only do higher grade Wailuas. So the smaller beans, the more defects, I just go ahead and eliminate that. And for pukalani, we do more of the fancy grade coffees from Kona and the fancy grade coffees from here. And that's very special. Other people don't do that because they're looking at more of the pricing structure. And for you, the taste is great and the prices are reasonable. So you have a great situation right there. Fair trade is more economical than it is something to do with the bean. In certain parts of the world, like you know, coffee is grown in third world countries. And many times the coffees for those countries are bought at a very low price. So fair trade came into existence so that the farmers would have a fair price for their coffee. Years ago, Kenyan farmers were selling their coffees at 17 cents or 25 cents a pound. And years ago, I could buy the green bean here at $3.45 a pound. So 17 cents, $3.45. That's an incredibly large difference. So people decided they want to do things fair trade. So they, a lot of times, like Starbucks or big companies like that, they go directly to the farms and they say, I'm going to pay you this amount of money, greater than what they normally do. Okay, so the farmer has money to get to the next harvest. Okay, now big difference here. Okay, many of these countries, they are very, very poor. So when fair trade comes in, the money goes to the farmer. it seems like it's a good thing, like it's a philanthropic, position for someone to do fair trade, but they're a little bit selfish. They're gonna spend money at fair trade prices because they want to come back next harvest and buy the coffee. Many farmers, they cannot afford it because it's too low, so they decide they're not gonna farm coffee anymore. They'll farm soybean or they'll farm corn because it's a shorter term crop, maybe 100 days, and they can get their money and they can survive. With fair trade, there's an opportunity to not only survive but to prosper, and that's a great thing to do with fair trade. Hawaiian coffee is very special. It took many years for Wailua coffee to start to develop. So since 1994, when we put the first coffee plant in the North Shore area, it took many years to develop the coffee so that it was that kind of smooth, sweet, soft coffee. And those are the nicest parts about that. For so many years we've been doing business with Japan, and the people are wonderful because they like those kinds of nice, sweet, soft coffees, and they can look at Kona for different items that they really want. But for Wailua, here we have very perfect growing conditions, nice roasting. I developed roasting for that coffee over about 3 years, and now we can do what we want to do for any customer for Wailua coffee. It's wonderful to buy and use on an everyday basis, and for me it's very special because it will be something that you will probably be ordering many times in the future. So I would just encourage you, I would encourage the pukalani blend because it's so good in its balance in coffees, and try Wailua for its beauty and its softness. I like that, and I think with the roasting that we are doing today, I think you will see that that coffee can be your favorite type of coffee for many years. So thank you for that.